This year, IAF is celebrating its 60th anniversary. Now, in 60 years, we have never been in the African continent, and this is the first time. So we are looking forward for a new era of cooperation with the African continent. I think it's just now that the southern countries are learning that space is not just a luxury toy for rich nations. It is something that can really help a population. It has benefits for the citizens of a state. Now, what are those benefits? First of all, communication from space is, of course, very helpful in countries that have large areas and a thin infrastructure. The second is resources. It is food, it is water, and it is energy. The distribution and the location of these resources can be determined very efficiently from space.
When nature turns against humanity, help after the catastrophe is often all that is left. This isn't only the case in countries with less than perfect infrastructures, because an earthquake, a hurricane, or a tsunami can even bring large industrial nations to a complete standstill. Any rapid analysis of the area actually affected then becomes almost impossible. It's frequently those areas outside the main conurbations that are especially hard hit. The destruction of roads and bridges, as well as a lack of telecommunications, make it impossible to assess the seriousness of the situation on the ground. But for targeting aid measures specifically, this information is absolutely crucial.
During a disaster, space imagery is crucial. And in this sense, UN SPIDER helps to provide a bridge between the space community and the disaster management community. The United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs has the so-called United Nations Global Platform for Space-Based Information for Disaster Management and Emergency Response, or in short, UN SPIDER, that assists the member states in the entire disaster management cycle. In a recent example, in Haiti in 2010, UN SPIDER worked with the United Nations relief aid agencies that were on the ground in Haiti.
In addition to rapid assistance in acute cases, satellite images can be used to provide early recognition of approaching disasters or major environmental changes.
The headquarters is in Vienna. We also have an office in Bonn, Germany, and in Beijing, China. In addition to that, we have 10 regional support officers worldwide. The local experts have the ground information and data and the local context of the disaster. So they'll be the best people to assist the communities that are being affected by the disaster.
Particularly with regard to the worldwide shortage of energy resources, satellite technology has an important role to play. space surveillance will help us to compile a global solar, wind and water power atlas, which will enable suitable locations for power plants for each energy source to be determined. Using this data not only saves valuable time, but also eliminates the need for the purchase and maintenance of expensive measuring instruments. Also, possible locations can be monitored on a large scale and analysed as far back as 20 years, thanks to previously archived data. This gives us the opportunity to plan and implement new environmentally friendly power plants at low cost. This is something that has already been successfully implemented in various regions of the world, thanks also to the globally operating Desertec Foundation. In this respect, the numerous large desert regions open up an entirely new range of additional possibilities for African nations in particular to strengthen their own economies. In the search for fertile, cultivatable land, the possibilities are very similar. The focus here is on easily accessible tracts of land capable of producing a high yield with as little water as possible, making them ideal for growing crops. And satellites can also provide helpful information in the field of disease prevention. For instance, in Burkina Faso in West Africa, the spread of the parasites that cause bilharziasis can be examined, supported by university research. By comparing satellite images with data collected in the affected areas, scientists have already been able to establish a link between the increasing frequency of new water reservoirs in the area and the spread of the parasite. A first step towards making the potential offered by space research accessible to the wider population in South Africa has already been taken. This is shown by the fact that the subject is becoming increasingly popular in South African schools. Both for pupils and teachers, these lessons are something very special.
South Africa is the most developed country in Africa, and it is the technological springboard to Africa. And in that context, for information and communication technologies, satellite technology creates enormous potential. We have a very advanced tourism sector. We have a very advanced agricultural sector. We have one of the world's leading mining sectors. And in all of those contexts, satellite technology hasn't begun to be used to the full yet. We've launched a satellite through our University of Stellenbosch, that's in the Western Cape, which is the province where we govern. And we're just beginning to see for the first time what the potential of satellite technology is for the development of a continent that holds most of the world's great riches and is the new frontier for economic growth and development.